Welcome to the Lost Lowdown Podcast 145 with your hosts, Claude and Justin.
What's up, guys?
We are back, continuing our Season 3 commentary series with episode 315, Left Where?
Behind.
I'm pretty sure it's left in front.
Oh, in front then.
Left to the side? Left underneath?
Left above?
Left above. You know, like when you're in an airplane and you stow your bags.
They were left above.
They were left above.
Where are your bags? I left them above.
Left them above. It's a whole episode about where bags are. It's surprisingly good. No, Left Behind. All right.
No one gets left behind.
We're really sort of churning through season 3 at this point.
Yeah.
I remember this episode really kind of marking how far we've come in season 3.
Yeah.
And understanding the others and just getting so much more. I mean, you know, remember the first 2 seasons? We were like, who are the others?
Yeah.
Now we've gotten a lot of answers.
We know a little too much now.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. But, yeah, I guess in Men from Tallahassee, they indicated that they were leaving. And so now we'll see that get carried out. My memory of this episode is that it was, like, not bad, but, you know, not as spectacular as, like, The Man from Tallahassee and Inter 77.
Yes.
So it was a little bit, and you know, Expose stands out for different reasons.
Mm-hmm.
So it was more like a normal episode, I guess. Like, it does its job. It wasn't like crap like Stranger in a Strangeland, you know, but it didn't blow my mind. Like, I think it was solid. That's my memory. It's just a good mid-season, get the job done, you know, progress the plot kind of episode.
Move the story forward kind of episode, for sure.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we'll see. I don't fully remember what happens in this episode, except for like the whole Left Behind thing.
Yeah.
That was memorable. But I think in general, like season 3, I mean, I think probably all TV shows are kind of like this. Like, you have big action and crazy stuff, and then kind of a cool down period.
Mm-hmm.
And I think, you know, sort of the Hydra plot reached a climax, and then we had Stranger in Strangeland and Trisha Tanaka. And then we went back with Inter 77 and Man from Tallahassee and Expose. And now I think we're in kind of a lully period until Naomi shows up.
Yeah.
I think that's where the end of the season plot starts to unfold, and there's this little period here where they gotta like move characters around and get things in place for what they want to do at the end of the season.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could be wrong, but I feel like a lot of Kate episodes are kind of like that.
Yeah.
When they want to like shift down a gear.
Definitely.
Before they ramp up to something.
Yeah, Kate episodes were never like the episode where like there's a mind-blowing reveal or something. Like that's just not. And I'm thinking through the seasons and like Eggtown and The Little Prince and what Kate did and what Kate does and all that.
What Kate will do.
What Kate will do. What Kate has done. What Kate might do. Yeah, like. They were always mid-season episodes with definitely like a toned down kind of vibe.
Mm-hmm.
I think the other thing I remember about this one that kind of worked for me is that they throw in Cassidy.
Yeah.
Which like kicked the flashback up a notch.
It did.
Given that like
anytime
crossover.
I was just gonna say, anytime they have the crossover, I mean that's one of the top 5 most interesting things about the show is having these character crossovers throughout their different timelines, and you know, I feel like anytime those scenes happen, you're always at the edge of your seat wondering what they're going to talk about, and like Especially when, you know, they know mutual people and you're like, okay, are you going to mention it? Or what are you going to say? You know, like how close you're going to get to, you know, sharing what the audience knows about these characters.
Yeah.
And they usually don't ever get that close. But yeah, this was pretty interesting with Kate and Cassidy and their whole relationship. I thought that really was a good. You know, it's great for Kate because it took some of the weight off of Kate to hold.
Definitely. That was, yeah, it brought in this whole story with Cassidy and Sawyer to add, just like Christian when he shows up, you know, he brings this baggage that, you know, baggage in a good way. You know, weight, I guess. Mm-hmm. That, yeah, if Claire or Kate have to support the whole thing on their own, like, it's a little harder.
Oh, man, yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, that last Claire episode definitely got better when Christian showed up.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like, it's like, without that, I mean, they'd be in trouble. Mm-hmm. You know, because, like, the emotional scene with her mother, like, sort of, it's hard to connect to, like, but we've had so much with Christian and Jack that, you know, seeing this side of him is very interesting. And so seeing Cassidy sort of post being betrayed by Sawyer is interesting.
Yeah, and I think, you know, because we didn't expect to see her, you know, I think that helps.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
She seems like the kind of character who was a flashback character who's like, okay, you did your thing, you surfaced that character's plot-centric episode, and now we won't see you again. And then she's back with, you know, more of her life fleshed out.
Yeah. And we get her in season 5, too, for one of my least favorite conversations in the show, where she explains to Kate why first of all she hates Sawyer and she calls him a coward for jumping off the helicopter.
Yes.
Which
he jumped off not to save you guys, but he jumped off because he didn't want to come back home.
Exactly.
Because he's selfish.
Yeah, and it was just like, come on, like, you're so bitter at him, but, like, give him a benefit of the doubt.
I want to interject something. This is so apropos because, you know, I just started watching Game of Thrones recently. At the time of the podcast, they just finished season 5. Justin's been watching it for the last couple years. But I'm just now catching up. And this specific dynamic you're talking about where a character who's usually female, and it's specifically about like a romance relationship, where like they have this kind of attitude. It reminded me of Shay in and spoiler alert, Game of Thrones. If you haven't seen it, I mean, this isn't like a plot spoiler. This is more of what her character does.
Yeah,
is like. I guess it's a little plot thing. When Tyrion, you know, wants her to leave, spoiler, when he wants her to leave,
not a big one,
for her own safety, and this happens thousands of times in stories. I mean, this is just a trope where a character asks another character to do something, and they don't, for their own good usually, and they don't trust that character, and it usually comes down to the response, and this is why it's a thing to me that I hate, is because usually the response is. They did it with another character in Game of Thrones too. They did it with the girl Sam's with, where he's like, "You should leave," and she's like, "Oh, so you're bored of me?
Yeah.
Oh, so you don't like me anymore?"
Yeah.
You know, it's always that response instead of like, it's really weird. And I feel like as a writer, I want to come up with like a name for this trope if there isn't one, because it's like usually a scene has like text, and then the characters are really talking about the subtext, and it's this thing where it's the reverse, where like character A is telling the character what the text is, like, you're in danger, you need to leave.
Yeah.
But then character B inserts this false subtext.
Yeah.
And jumps to conclusions and goes, oh, okay, it's not the thing you're telling me that's true, it's this other thing that's true.
Yeah.
And it just bugs me because it's the one time when a character is actually speaking what they want to say.
Right.
Because most scenes, characters are speaking, you know, their subtext. So it's just really odd thing, and I guess is how you get conflict out of that reversal of text and subtext. But it feels so artificial.
Yeah.
Especially, and then when you have a character like Shay where they've had like 10 conversations like that.
Yeah.
and her response is always the same, and he's as nice as he can be about it and sincere, but he doesn't get credit for that. And so I feel like it's the same thing with Cassidy, where her response is really unfair.
Yeah.
And you just go, oh, come on, like what, really?
Yeah. It's like you weren't there. You're just judging it based on your own experience, and like I feel like given the fact that he crashed on an island, like you could at least like give him the benefit of the doubt that like maybe he did a good thing once. Like it's, you know what I mean? It's so, and then to add on to that, she explains why Kate took Aaron. And Kate took Aaron because Sawyer left her, basically. So that's the extra level of like, what? Like, she just shows up with like all these crazy explanations that like I have a hard time buying.
Yeah.
Like it's like I really don't think that's why she took Aaron. Like, because Sawyer's not here. I need someone.
I think that's another thing that's frustrating as a viewer is when that kind of situation where a character has an explanation for something that is wrong or you don't think it's quite right, that just gets to exist.
Yeah. It's not really challenged.
Not being challenged.
Yeah, and there's never really on screen like another explanation, so it makes me think like maybe we're supposed to believe it, but it's just hard for me to buy.
Yeah.
It felt more like, well, Aaron was there first of all.
Yeah.
Someone had to take the baby. And
Kate's not a monster.
Yeah, exactly.
She's not a sociopath.
And, she had a connection with the baby, with Claire. She was there when he was born.
Didn't she birth the baby?
She did. She birthed the baby. She was there. And, I mean, that was a running thing with the two of them. And, and they continued it to the end of the show where she goes back for Claire, leaving the baby behind. So, I mean, I think if anything, that's who she did it for. And so the idea, like, she did it because she didn't have Sawyer was just like, really?
Yeah, nobody was thinking that.
Yeah, it just, and then she goes back and she's not even into Sawyer. It's not even a thing. Like, that was done.
He forgot her face.
Sawyer looked at her once, but she didn't look at him.
Oh, man. That's happened on the show.
Yeah, the plot of that era is just like really painful to me. I really wish they found a different like mechanism for that into season 5.
Remember that time Locke found the swan hatch and the light turned on?
Yes.
And you remember that time Sawyer looked at Kate?
Yeah.
Just as good, right?
Yeah. Yeah, strangely enough, the second thing had like way bigger consequences.
Wow, take that, Swan Station.
Yeah, no offense, but hydrogen bomb got put, set off because of that look.
Mm-hmm.
The look that set off 1,000 hydrogen bombs.
Oh man. You mean the look that caused them to time travel? Wow.
And I feel like looking back at the show, he looked at her just like as a, I don't know, nostalgia or like I remember feeling like that for you, or just some kind of, I don't think he was like gonna leave Juliet for Kate. Like I just don't think so.
Yeah.
Otherwise he should have done that in the afterlife.
Well, I was just thinking about that, and we could go down this road where we can't really come up with an answer because of time travel or whatever. But like, in some sense, he's already with Juliet in the afterlife,
True.
right? So it makes my brain want to hurt to think about what could he have done in his present life timeline to change that. My answer wants to be nothing.
Yeah.
Because it already happened to some degree, but it really shouldn't. It should depend on what happens in his life, right?
You would think so. That's true.
So it's kind of weird to think about.
Very weird, actually.
You're welcome.
There Is No Now Here, together with the like fact that life occurs over time, and
yeah,
it's hard to and like they're all there, but they died at different times. Like, I don't know how that works, but I feel like that's the showrunners telling us, like, Juliet was it for him. He wasn't. So whatever that look meant, it didn't mean what she thought it meant.
Yeah.
And having her like fly off the handle to that extent because of that look, like it's frustrating to me. It's, I want better for Juliet.
Yeah.
I don't want her to die because she misinterpreted a look, like it just feels so like such a weak reason for her to like sacrifice her life,
Yeah, for this sort of falsely magnanimous thing to do. Like, well, I'll let you be happy.
Yeah.
It'll be by me dying.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, no, that's not that. He is not happy when you die. Like, it's Kate,
it's the opposite.
Kate goes to him and like he so is not like, oh, good, now she's gone, we can finally get together, Freckles. Like, he really didn't remember her face. It was real. The whole thing was real. And it's just she didn't buy it, and it's kind of frustrating. I want her to like be more insightful than that.
Yeah.
Because I feel like her character should be, by that point at least, maybe in her flashbacks, no.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. To me, it seems like a bookend with her flash, like they're almost mirroring how she started out, which I think is partially why it's frustrating, because she had grown past being that character.
Exactly.
But maybe they're trying to have her regress in a way, or that like her core insecurity came out, which actually that works, right? Because she had that insecurity with her ex-husband.
Right.
He was, the first scene we see with him is him with another woman, flaunting it in her face. So that idea of like that emotional scar for her coming back up might have been like, well, this is the one thing that'll make Juliet do this. Like if it was something slightly different, she could have handled it in a different way. But I mean, I think I'm adding a bit more than the show tells us about that moment. But
they make it mainly about that one flashback of her childhood with her parents getting divorced, and they're like, just because they love each other doesn't mean we're meant to be together. And,
that's right.
That's what she repeats to him. So I mean, I think you could connect the divorce to her ex-husband, and like that's all pretty logical.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, I want her character to have progressed beyond that by that point. So it's kind of frustrating that she's still got this thing from when she was 10 that is, her tragic flaw.
Yeah. And a tragic flaw we didn't know before.
Yeah.
Like a tragic flaw that had to explain, right, when they're doing this thing that we won't like.
Yeah. Yeah, which makes it feel a bit retconny, and it's like, yeah. If they tied it into something more directly that we had seen before, if they made it about her sister or something, like I could have seen it.
Yeah. All right. Well.
Anyway, Juliet is involved in this episode, so it's semi-relevant. Because I think she gets left behind.
Whoa! Spoiler alert.
Yes. Sorry. I hope we find that out fast, so it's not too much of a spoiler, but maybe it's the ending. I don't know.
All right, you ready to jump into it?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, well, get your players ready if you're going to sync up with this.
Okay.
All right, let me know when you're ready.
I am ready.
Okay, here we go.
All right.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Previously on Lost. Go to Sioux City.
Sioux City.
I want you to get a sarsaparilla. Yeah, Cassidy Clementine in Sioux City. Come on. They're making jokes.
It's true. Oh, not again.
Wow, she doesn't care twice.
I don't care. Again, not even this.
I'll say it once, I'll say it again. I don't care. Getting caught. to Disney World. Wow, that's like a soap opera. Why are you
Why
wet?
It's
soaking.
Inquiring minds need to know. He's so wet.
So wet. He's soaked. He's more wet than that ocean is.
Oh, man. Ye old pool room. I guess she heard the explosion outside?
Why do you think that? She seems pretty calm if there's an explosion.
Well, she's gonna... yeah, you're right.
I think she was waiting for this moment.
She was just gonna do this.
Until somebody comes, yeah.
I remember this. This is crazy.
Yeah, this is crazy. Oh man, I forgot about Juliet and Charlotte's fight. Yep. Oh my god, that was so awesome.
Yeah.
Forgot about that.
Yeah, she's got fighting skills. They de-emphasize that later on, but at this point, she's like badass.
Yeah, I forgot about that. She ducks with a plate of sandwich in her hand.
Yeah.
Like, that's ninja quality.
It is. Like, she just opens the door and she's like ready for action.
She's ready.
I got this.
Maybe she read Kate's file and she knew what to expect.
Yeah, she pulled out on the marshal at least once. So one time she hit me with a pool cue.
I guess we're in Iowa.
Oh, I've been to Iowa before. I always lie about my aim. Oh, wait. Yeah. Sorry. Did I say that out loud? Look at gas. It's so cheap. It's like one something.
Oh, wow.
It was like $1.50. Like, Jesus Christ. It doesn't seem like it's just that old, but it's getting up there.
Yeah, reveal this woman.
I love it. I love that she was conned by him, but she's still doing this stuff.
Yeah, I think that's what makes her. That's the first great thing about her character.
Yeah,
she comes back doing what Sawyer did to her.
Exactly.
And it's like she basically like just refused to become a victim. Like, like, well, I'm gonna use these skills.
That's fine. I'll still do it. Yeah, because he sort of trained her. And
like, well, it's great.
I have skills now. I might as well use them.
Yeah, no, it's a great character trait. And then it's like two con women.
Yeah, totally.
Both are on the same page. Like, that's always fun. Like, two of the same professions.
She stepped in to help, and
yeah.
This is very Better Call Saul, man. I feel like they ripped off like a lot of stuff from Sawyer in this business.
I believe it. Yeah.
Because, like, one of the things in Better Call Saul is that Saul used to be a con man.
Mm-hmm.
Spoiler alert. This show's okay.
Oh.
Not as good as Game of Thrones. Game of Throwdown, coming soon.
Game of Throwdown. Wow. Nice.
What? Oh, we're back on the island.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I caught it, but it was weird.
I was like, is Locke in her flashback? That doesn't make any sense.
Wait, what? They caught me temporarily?
Mm-hmm. They caught me, but now I'm not caught.
Yeah.
I guess.
Who's gonna say yes to that?
I'm brainwashed.
Yeah.
That's an audience line.
Yeah.
He really doesn't want to go home. Don't worry.
Kate, if you knew what he's going to become.
Yeah. Not a killer. Even though they've done way worse than anything.
Way worse.
Done. So they're just full of shit, but whatever. Fucking others. Like that weird judgmental thing.
Yeah. It's unearned.
It is. And also, there's no real explanation for it.
Yeah.
It's not like they get that from Jacob.
Yeah, Locke's being really weird.
Yeah. Going off with the others.
That's a pretty decent outro there. Yeah.
It is. It works. It's kind of soft, but it works.
Yeah, it's more strong character stuff.
Yeah.
Like, not a big story.
Exactly.
Or mythology thing.
But it's not awkward. Like those Walking Dead ones.
Like
so it's like, what are you doing? That's not a big... Like, everyone just stares at each other for 10 seconds, and then they go to credits.
So good.
After we buried him alive.
Oh, the vote.
Oh, right. I remember this.
Unless I'm in a church. I'm always aiming.
I kind of feel like at this point in the season, Hurley is starting to become a little bit like season 1 Locke.
In what way?
Like the way he's like taking characters and sort of mentoring them or leading them along a path that he thinks they should go down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's interesting.
You know, like that's what Locke did in season 1, you know, with Boone and with Charlie, and you know, like it feels like that's kind of what Hurley's doing here.
Yeah, I can see that.
Like he's like, Sawyer needs to something, and so I'm gonna try to motivate him to.
Well, it's from a show perspective, it's like Sawyer needs to change.
Yeah.
How do you get him to change? Who's around? Well, Kate's not around.
Yeah.
Jack's not around.
Yeah.
Hurley could do it.
But it's also kind of nice for Hurley because it starts him to develop those leadership qualities that he needs to have in the long run.
Yeah, for sure.
Of like sort of managing the camp.
So I don't remember specifically.
What?
Oh yeah, no.
I forgot about this.
Yeah, this was crazy.
Oh my god. I forgot. This is a season where everyone gets gassed all the time.
Yeah.
Kick it away.
Yeah.
Can't get me because I kicked it.
You know what they say about gas? It doesn't fill a volume.
Yeah.
That's the one thing everybody knows about a gas. Yeah, like what she didn't like try to wrap the canister in something, like put
that
it
would have been the thing to do instead of kicking. I feel like that made it spread faster.
Yeah, it did. And now she doesn't know where it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Lucille.
She's not buying it. Yeah. Lucinda.
I don't think I realized Kate was Catholic.
Me either.
I just got that.
Like Christian characters.
That makes her sound so badass.
It does.
Man, the circumstances are so soft.
It's true.
Like if this was Kate's first scene, you know how badass she would be?
And she seemed badass in the early days.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, you're right. If we saw this first, they would have a...
I just killed a man for no good reason.
Mm-hmm. Yep. He was a bad guy, but that's not why I did it. I did it just to watch him die.
Yeah, I did to see how it felt.
But yeah, most Christian characters in like movies and TV shows are Catholic. I think because it's just more cinematic.
It's a rich religion. There's so much there.
It's older. It has more ritual. It has more like pageantry.
It's got saints.
It has more iconography. Yeah, it has saints. Like, exactly.
Yeah. It's got built-in guilt.
Yeah, very guilty. Guilt is good for drama.
Emotion for characters, yeah.
The confession thing, like,
there's sin, good and evil.
Yeah.
Morality.
Yeah.
Well, those are all religions, but you know.
Yeah, but it has them very prominently.
Yeah.
It's
something important probably happened, but we're talking religion, so we missed it.
I was just thrown off by Kate being Catholic.
Yeah, I know. It's fundamental. Now I get it.
The saints, like, definitively makes that true.
Wow. Is this the pilot?
I think maybe she asked for Cassidy's help or something.
Okay.
I mean, we'll see in the next scene, but that's what I would guess. Uh-oh, I'm in the jungle. Uh-oh, I got a handcuff on. Uh-oh, it's one handcuff. Uh-oh, there's two hands. Uh-oh, who's got another hand?
Uh-oh, there's an arm.
Oh, shit.
Uh-oh, it's Juliet.
It's a whole Juliet. Look at her, faking.
Fake? You mean acting?
Nice try, Juliet. I know you're not dead.
Oh. I thought you made Kate's performance. Like, look at her faking.
No. I meant Juliet.
That's suspicious.
Yeah, sounds like fuck you, Sawyer.
He's gonna get the Korean vote.
Korean votes. He tried to just smile. That was his big move.
He's making jokes to himself.
I know.
This is who Sawyer is.
It's so Sawyer. I love it. He's I feel like I so didn't appreciate him at these points.
I don't know if he's had his hair like this before on the show. If this is the first time he had
the ponytail thing,
the like samurai ponytail thing. But it adds to like this new bubbling Sawyer.
Definitely.
All right, I had one scene where you were proven right, so I'm gonna change my life completely now. This is just like when Boone and Shannon were arguing if Shannon could take care of herself, and the deciding factor was if she could get a fish or not.
Yeah, you're right.
They just repeated that.
They did. I didn't think about that.
Yeah, this is washing old Sawyer off.
Yep.
It started with getting it out in the air that Sawyer was responsible with the Charlie kidnapping.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're doing Sawyer cleanup.
You're totally right. Yeah. Yeah. I guess that's part of why they have to reveal that, because they have to like clear the air on that. Otherwise, like it's always going to be an elephant in the room.
Yeah, and it's all the things, all the like bad things he's done. Like we have to check him off the list so that doesn't hold it against him.
Yeah. Uh-oh. All right, she's not waking up. There it is. There it is.
No, see, that's the ninja quality.
Yeah. She waited like a little bit longer than I expected.
Well, it's the sound of the knife that got her, because she's ninja.
Yeah, totally.
Once danger was threatened.
Yeah.
Woke the sleeping dragon.
Wow. I don't care what Jack said. Wait a minute.
Wait a minute, that used to work. They brought up the runway.
Mm-hmm.
I missed the explanation of how they escaped.
How who escaped?
They escaped. Like, she said a canister came to the window.
Yeah.
How did they end up in the jungle handcuffed together?
I think they just woke up there. I don't think they know.
Oh, okay. I thought I missed that explanation.
Yeah. I think it's a mystery at this point, but I think I remember the answer.
I think I remember the answer too.
Yeah, okay. So I think Kate did ask for her help.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I think that's what's going on in this scene.
Yeah.
Because it's her.
Yeah.
I love that wig. That makes
it's
her
Kate. It's a great wig.
It really almost looked like her from the back.
Yeah. There was something very fake about it, though. It's something.
But Kate's hair looks kind of fake sometimes.
Yeah. No, I just meant it didn't look like Kate. It just felt like it was an imposter.
Yeah.
I'm just selling Bibles.
With a wig on.
Salesman. They're used Bibles, but the words are still as good.
God damn it.
But in their reality, is she wearing a wig?
I think so.
Because I feel like he should take the wig off and go. I agree. If you're selling Bibles,
why are you wearing a wig? Yeah.
That looks exactly like Kate.
I guess we're supposed to believe he didn't notice the wig.
Wow.
Which is not really plausible. He questioned her after that with the wig on.
With the wig on.
Well, I told you I killed a guy. Get over it.
Oh, well, that sounds normal.
You happy now?
Mm-hmm. I haven't thought about this before, but she's kind of got a Locke thing going on here.
Yeah, definitely.
Like this betrayal.
Yeah.
She can't get over it, and yeah.
And she's desperately seeking that approval. She keeps going back.
And that is one of my least favorite character motivations of all time. Is like a character who wants. Who I just want to ask you why, and nothing good's gonna come from it, and the audience just knows that, but that's their biggest driving factor.
Yeah,
it's so frustrating to watch.
Yeah, definitely.
Like in Kill Bill, she didn't want to ask Bill why.
Right.
She just wanted to kill him.
Though she did find out why.
She did find out. But that
wasn't the reason.
You betrayed me, and I just need to know why. But it's like, no, I just need to kill you because that's the code we live by.
Yeah.
I feel like you go along with that a lot faster.
Yeah, I agree. Uh-oh, thunderclap.
Thunderclap. Watching shows with subtitles, you see a lot of words you don't often see.
It's true.
Wow.
Ouch.
That was a punch.
Yeah. And a knee.
2 punches and a knee.
Oh, and a flip.
Roll.
Fist fight with handcuffs. In the rain. Like, damn. Oh, God.
Started.
Oh, she cracked it.
Cracking.
Ugh. Now she's crying because of the cracking.
Mm-hmm.
And now there's a thump roaring. Oh, shit.
And now there's a dinosaur.
Now we realize they are in Jurassic Park.
Jurassic World is newest attraction.
Dislocating shoulders I've seen several times. Mm-hmm. It's a thing, and then you gotta pop it back in.
It's like the medium level of seriousness to where it's the pain is really high, the seriousness is really high, but it's also fixable.
Yeah.
It's like right before you get to sprained or broken.
Yeah. Uh-oh, dinosaur point of view.
Wow.
Yeah, this is weird.
Yeah.
I didn't remember this.
I can't remember if this is the first Smokey POV. Or if there was one before. I feel like there was one before this.
There might have been one before this. Oh, yeah, the scan.
Oh, this!
Yeah.
Which they never do again.
No. The way they show it later is totally different. They try to show the lights, but there it was really
that was just the paparazzi, right? They just came and took some pictures for TMZ.
That's all I can assume.
Yeah.
Evangeline Lilly, Elizabeth Mitchell in a tree together. They'll never believe it.
Never believe it. The rumors are true.
Is that what they're calling it now?
Sawyer running for office?
That's what it seems like.
Oh, yeah, he is getting votes. I forgot.
He basically is, yeah.
He's his campaign manager.
Yeah.
Hurley's teaching Sawyer how to be nice. I feel like Sawyer knows how to do this. He just doesn't know how to do it genuinely, I guess.
Yeah.
Like if you told Sawyer to play a nice version of himself, he could sweet talk anybody.
You would think so.
Such a weird thing. He's got the skills, but he doesn't know how to use them.
Yeah.
I guess. Because he doesn't want anything, I guess.
Right. And so
he does want something, so I feel like he could still do it.
Yeah.
But he's got to not want something. But he wants something, but he's got to not want it.
I guess the thing he wants is not something he's used to trying to get, and that's the.
Well, but he's being nice because he wants them to vote for.
Right.
But being nice actually means not wanting anything.
Right.
So he's got to not want anything to get the thing that he wants. I don't like it. I want that as a bumper sticker.
It is funny how awkward he is. Like that seems like something Hurley would do.
Like, is this your first time talking to people?
Yeah. Like, how do you humans use these words?
Yeah, he seems like an alien. Like, this is the start of some alien buddy rom-com. Like.
I don't believe it either, just for the record.
You don't believe what?
That she's never seen the smoke monster.
I don't believe she doesn't know what it is. Like, but has she never seen it? Yeah, she's probably seen it.
Well, it
Locke's fault?
It was kind of Locke's fault. That's weird to blame on Kate. I hate in TV shows, they do that a lot too. Like someone does something and then like anyone that's in their vicinity gets blamed for it.
Yeah. We made sure of it.
Yeah, we contrived to make that happen.
Oh, Jack pulled a Juliet.
Yeah.
He's like, go be happy with him then.
You're totally right.
Jeez, they keep reusing stuff.
And now Juliet's the one being that character.
Yeah.
She's like, no, he did it for this reason. Come on.
Wow. Nice. Lost.
I feel like Smokey heard that, but that Smokey scan doesn't really have a follow-up.
No.
She never really interacts with the smoke monster, unfortunately. Is he hunting now? Like they're trying to tell us Desmond's a hunter now.
Yeah.
Like they're trying to sell that thing from Bajavion.
Mm-hmm. Where he was trying to hunt boar.
Yeah, where it seems so fake.
Well, what else is Desmond going to do? Drinking was the only thing he did before.
True. Something somewhat less destructive than drinking.
Yeah. This is a horrible plotline. I appreciate the goal of like making Sawyer more sympathetic and likable. But I didn't realize how tedious it was that he's literally campaigning for votes.
Yeah.
Like they turned it into a political like campaign.
Yeah.
It's so odd.
I think it's fine. Like I kind of like it, but it's pretty silly. It's pretty frivolous.
Yeah.
There's something
just like we get lines like I got to give the people what they want.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. It's just like it's so unabashedly what it is.
Yeah.
There's no finesse to it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's on the nose, definitely. It's almost like he's running a campaign on the viewers as well as the people there.
No, it is.
Hey, you should like me.
Honestly, it's the viewers who get to vote, right?
Yeah, exactly.
No one has ever done that to you ever.
Yeah, like every day someone
like that happens all the time.
Yeah, that's a stretch. I don't buy it. I guess you know how to lie just like your daughter.
Who taught her? Oh, her name's Diane.
Diane.
Is this Winkies?
It really seems like. Oh wow, that's weird. That'd be crazy if Sir Winkies. There's a scary man out back, but they're in Iowa. That's the problem. I want to know why.
Hmm.
You shouldn't treat dogs that way, just for the record.
Actually, it was hot blood.
His blood was pretty hot.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. And that's the explanation for that.
There it is.
That's so weird. They're like circling back, explaining previous flashbacks.
Yeah, that's really weird.
Yeah.
Something that happened later that we saw before.
Exactly.
Oh, so weird.
It's very strange. He didn't have to. Yeah. I knew it. I read his file, okay?
Yeah.
That's what that means.
I know what his tattoos mean.
Though I don't think he knew that.
I know I'm gonna end up with him in the afterlife.
I know he likes grilled cheese with toothpicks. Again? Like, come on,
wow.
Sphinx, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like, what is he doing?
I don't know what he's doing.
Just fucking around.
Making him run.
Like, I'm just gonna chase you for a week. Like, it just seems so random.
Ugh.
Ugh. God. I realized the famous mud pits were there.
Oh, this.
Oh, right, this. Oh, yeah.
Oh, this is great.
Oh, yeah.
She said they were off, but they weren't off yet.
No.
Oh, she's turning it on.
Oh, they were off. She's going to turn them on, yeah.
Oh, this is legendary.
Yeah. This is something they have to stick with, whether it makes sense or not.
Oh, it was multiple smokes came together.
Yeah, the triple smoky.
Maybe there is no going over. Maybe the wall extends sufficiently high, like up.
I mean, I guess I don't know how high you can float, but I mean, they were able to just climb over it.
Well, but they climbed over the pylon.
That's true. Maybe the pylon is just a gap.
But I guess that begs the question: why doesn't he go through the gaps in the pylon?
True. Did you say the title?
Live Together, Die Alone?
Don't tell me what I can't do.
Tabula Rasa?
See you in the next life, brother. Does that work? You have to be Scottish for that, I guess.
Brother.
What, you think one gun and one bullet is enough to save you?
Everybody's drinking.
Yeah. It's pig party.
This is the big cookout.
With the Dharma beer.
Oh, okay, the hunting was a success. Yep.
Oh, God.
Yes, Sawyer. Since when was that a plausible plot point?
Didn't you read the Last Writer's Guide? They were going to form a democracy. Hello.
And this is just a small nod in that direction. There was never going
to be no vote.
He's like regressing. When is a con not a con is really the question. Where is Saeed?
He's where is he? That's a good question.
Did he get captured?
Is he still chained to the?
Oh, he's still chained to the blink.
I think he's still chained to the swing set.
Oh, okay. They did leave though, but they left him chained.
I assume. I mean, I don't know.
Which is not really what any of the other so-called leaders ever did, but
that's true.
They actually did like leadership stuff.
But I think that's what the Hurley version of the leader wants to do.
Yeah, just like when he had to pass out the food and it was his choice. Like,
totally.
This is like, it's all about being happy. And that means food and good times.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, you guys aren't necessarily safe though, just because you feel happy.
But at least they're not wasting stuff, and Hurley's not keeping a secret stash in the meantime while he's like, you know, like half the pig is like behind a tree somewhere.
It's just these scenes are always so odd to me because they can have this every night.
Yeah.
This is the kind of thing that seems like it's a special occasion, but like obviously the food and the fruit is pretty easy to get here.
True.
Here, a whole pineapple for the baby. They can eat that, right?
True. But I think like okay, I pretty much never like the sentimental montages. But I think at this point, at least these characters have spent enough time together for me to like semi-buy this. Mm-hmm. Like when they do it in like season 1, episode 5 or something, it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like wait, slow down, guys.
Sun had her wedding ring. When did she already lose and find that?
Yeah, I think she lost and found it already.
All right, good.
Yeah.
Was that in Lost and Found?
I think it was. Season 2, episode 5. Ugh, correct me if I'm wrong.
Nice.
I used to be really good at that. I remember that was a thing for a while.
Oh, ... and found. Yeah. No, you're right. Episode 5.
Yes!
That's exactly how my memory does not work. It does not. It's not good with stuff like that.
I guess I am, or I don't know. It sticks in my mind for some reason. I have a cataloging brain sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I like to sort and stuff, associate numbers.
Yeah.
But I remember in the early days of Lowdown, I remember like throwing out episode numbers all the time. I kind of quit doing that. Because, Lostpedia.
You proved your point. You're great at it.
Yeah, we get it. Plus, I could just be looking at them, so...
Yeah, that's your secret all these years.
Exactly. So Jack got left behind, too.
Yeah, because we don't really know what's going on, it works, but I think, having seen the whole show, it's really weird what's happening.
It is, yeah. It's really strange. I'm sorry you saw my sex tape.
This is like hunting party all over again.
It wasn't really Kate's fault, though. Like, she didn't know Locke was going to go blow up the submarine.
Well, she could take the blame for... She was the reason they went to find him.
That's true.
It was her plan, right?
That's true. She wanted to go back.
The rescue operation was her thing. They didn't have the motivation, remember?
Right. They just knew where to look, quote unquote. Yeah. Still, though, I think her responsibility is somewhat less than Locke's.
Yeah. He should at least come up in the conversation.
I agree. But yeah, that's why they replayed that. I don't care what Jack said, because it's like she defied, like he told her not to come, and so
that's where her guilt's coming from.
Yeah,
she just said, "I don't care what he said," and he said for a reason.
Yeah.
Now we bring all the losties over here to these smoking condos.
Hell yeah, good place to live. Woo!
Behind a smoke monster fence?
Hell yeah. Yeah, that's a good point.
Like, why are they going back?
They really shouldn't go back. Did she even mention that the smoke monster chased them in there? And
she's too guilty right now.
Yeah, I don't think she even brought it up.
No.
It's amazing, the stuff they don't think they need to mention. Like, wasn't that just a little bit crazy, Kate?
It's worth knowing.
Yeah, I think so.
Or even just to say, we got attacked by the smoke monster twice in 24 hours just outside of here, so.
We should, it might be kind of dangerous walking out there.
Yeah. What's his name, Sawyer?
James Sawyer Ford. At least that's what I'm telling him.
I think
she will.
More... But see, she has to say no because then when she does, it's called character growth.
That's true. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
I like Lucy better. Stick with Lucy. I forgot what I was gonna say.
Oh, okay.
It was something.
Such an awesome YMCA.
Is that what it is?
I think so, yeah. Yeah, you can visit this on the Lost Tour. It's still there. There's like a road like right by it, but they don't show it.
I would love if those were like places you could rent for like camping.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
It'd be cool to stay there like a hotel room.
So there's Sayid.
There he is.
They don't leave footprints.
50 people.
Look at that.
You think 50 people don't leave footprints?
That makes no sense. Like, why are they?
There should be a huge, massive trail.
Why are they still preserving that?
She made me sandwiches. You don't understand, Sayid.
She's blonde. And that. Left behind. No one gets left behind.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna watch her.
They're both gonna watch her.
I got my doke's eyes on you, Juliet.
Don't trust her.
What are you up to, Morgan?
Left Behind.
There it goes. There it goes.
Yeah, so like we said before, I think the Cassidy thing really helped Kate's flashback.
A lot, yeah.
Yeah, that whole thing of wanting to know why is a really frustrating character motivation.
Yeah, and of course you didn't really get an answer.
And that's why it's frustrating, because you never get the answer you want.
Yeah.
At the least, but you either get an answer, no answer, or a different kind of answer. Yeah. And I feel like her answer was, she basically said she loved the guy even with his faults.
I guess so, yeah.
But in the same breath, she's like, yeah, Kate, I turned you in, which means like I don't love you for your faults. Mm-hmm. Proportionally, I guess, because she's like, you kill him in cold blood. Like,
yeah.
I feel like the big point is that line where she says Kate did it for herself.
Yeah.
Which I don't feel like is true, but it's so pointed that it seems like it's supposed to be true.
It's another one of those lines, like what we were talking about, like where a character tells another character like mm-hmm. what their motivation is.
Yeah, you did it for this reason. And not the reason that you said or has been explained or been presented, but this other reason that doesn't seem to gel.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, yeah, I don't know if we're supposed to believe that, but it seems like she gets the final word there, and so it's another weird thing where like maybe we're supposed to believe that.
Mm-hmm.
Like on some level she did just do it primarily for herself, which wouldn't be that evil.
Well,
I mean, she was living in this household, like it's not like, you know what I mean, like it affected her too.
Well, but the fact that she put the insurance policy in the mom's name,
mm-hmm.
That's a non-selfish thing to do.
Definitely.
Like she could have killed that guy any number of ways, but she did it in a way that made it look like an accident,
right.
and the way that there could be something positive in it for the mom. Like,
True.
So it seems like she has a good case that she did it for the mom.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the evidence is that she did it for herself.
Yeah.
What that really would mean or say about her. It's not like, oh, okay, well, she always, she's born to run, so she always wanted to leave the house, but she couldn't because he was alive. So
right.
If she killed him, she could leave, but she didn't want to leave the mom, I think she thought they'd be together with some money after this.
Yeah, she definitely thought that.
Not that she could finally be free and escape,
right.
Which would make sense
mm-hmm.
for her character, but that's not how they presented it. So it's really,
True.
I don't understand what they mean that she was selfish.
It's weird. Yeah. Yeah, no, I don't really buy it, but
Okay, Carlton and Damon question.
Yeah, definitely. They're adding up, man.
They are. We're gonna have a lot of. They have a lot to answer for.
It's gonna be a long hour.
It's gonna be little 75-minute hours.
It's time works differently on the Left Lowdown.
It doesn't scatter quite right.
Exactly. It's a little stretchy.
So what do you think about the main?
Yeah. So like, okay. So yeah, the flashback pretty good. I mean, not spectacular, but like well done, decent. A few bumps, but yeah, the main plot, I like the twists. It was kind of fun, like, sort of bottle episode in a way.
Yeah, they were in the jungle pretty much the whole time.
Yeah.
Just running from place to place.
Yeah, exactly. It gave Kate and Juliet the chance to like have some scenes and get out some stuff and the mystery of the handcuff and can you trust Juliet and what does she know and all that stuff, like it's and of course if I remember correctly there's another level of deception on Juliet that she hasn't revealed yet.
Yeah, well there's at least one more big reveal which is about being left behind.
Yeah.
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so that's what's interesting is in this episode, we get the first level reveal that, okay, Juliet, this was a plan of hers to supposedly make Kate think that they were in it together. So she had the handcuffs, she saved her, she dragged them out there, whatever. But the reveal is she had the key to the handcuffs the whole time.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that by the end of the episode, especially with what Jack says, like we want to trust her.
Right.
After she just revealed to be untrustworthy. And then later, there's another reveal. And it's kind of like, well, we just set this up, guys.
Yeah.
It's like, but you didn't ask if I was a liar,
Right. It's like she wasn't even left behind.
Yeah.
So it's like they left her there with a mission.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's like the final line is like bullshit. Saeed's right.
Yeah.
And it's like, but you don't think that, the way they play it. Mm-hmm. It feels very genuine.
And I thought it was a strange kind of grouping of words where Jack's like, she's coming with us, and Saeed's like, why? And he goes, because she was left behind too. Which, if you think about that logic, it kind of means the reason we're going back to the beach is because we were all left here. Mm-hmm. And like that doesn't make sense. No, you guys are going back to the beach because that's your home. Right. Because you guys are the Losties. Right. That doesn't include her.
Yeah.
Just because she was left behind doesn't mean she needs to come with you.
Yeah.
It was just that, I mean, you get what he's saying, but if you break it down, it's a weird kind of logic. But
yeah, it's more like the others left her behind.
Yeah.
That's why she's going back. We also got left behind, but
yeah, like he's trying to say, I feel like he's trying to get to, she's one of us now because they left her. Yeah. She's not one of them anymore.
Yeah, I think that's the idea.
But that's the leap because it's specifically not true and it shouldn't be true just on the face of it.
And that's not why they're going back.
Yeah, exactly.
It sort of is in a way, like in effect, but not directly. I mean, they would want to go back to the camp anyway, whether they got left behind or not. Yeah. But her getting left behind is the reason why he thinks she should come because they've abandoned her, and it's like you're saying, she's basically one of them now. Yeah. At least that's, what he wants to say.
Exactly.
And so, yeah. But it's funny that like he's just wrong.
Yeah. But this also is coming from, she was the one with the cards, who sort of tried to start this rebellion against Ben and tried to get Jack to kill him. So she does have that history of being of wanting to get out of the others.
That's true. And ultimately that is where the story's going.
Yes.
But they're not quite ready to go there all the way yet. There's kind of a middle ground where, she has this final mission, and that's where she really has to decide where her loyalties are. And so, like, this whole premise is faulty.
Yeah. Faulty premise. The sequel to Fawlty Towers.
Faulty? What's wrong with them?
They're breaking down. I like that the Kate and Juliet together was a pretty good story. And then of course Smokey coming to the picture. We get a couple more pivotal little bits of smokiness.
Yeah, we get the scanning and we get the fence thing.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Which are both actually pretty big reveals. Mm-hmm. We don't really know what the scanning means, but I guess we could maybe draw the conclusion based on Echo's story if we wanted to. It's like reading them and, you know, learning about their lives or something. Learning memories that it might exploit later.
Yeah. I mean, Smokey has a history of coming to people and doing something to figure out how he's going to manipulate them and who he's going to appear to them as.
Yeah.
But it was a strange effect though, because it was such just obviously camera flashes in their face and it just looked weird.
It did, and they don't portray it like that again, as you said. There's a few things like that, a few bits of imagery that they use a little bit and then abandon, and it's like, yeah, they just didn't quite work or.
Yeah, and it's probably like from director to director too. Like, a director will get to do something for the first time on a show, and then later they're like, yeah, we didn't really like that, or change it.
Yeah. Like the cave, like they didn't like the cave set, so they abandoned it. You know, it's just like the practicalities of shooting it, and you know they use it, but then they're like, but we can kind of do something different later. Mm-hmm. That's more like what we want. You know?
The Smokey in 3 pieces was, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I feel like, you know, that seems to suggest he could be multiple people at once.
I remember reading some crackpot theories along those lines that if Smokey can split up, then presumably, and I believe. We'll see when we get there if it sort of makes sense. But I think there's a point in the story in season 5 where he is in 2 places at once. Mm-hmm. Where he's Christian in the barracks and he's Locke on the Hydra Island. I think that happens.
Yeah, I think so.
And so I guess he can do that. It's another one of those like crazy awesome powers that he really underuses. Mm-hmm. You know, like, I mean, even if he's stuck as being Locke in season 6, he could be Locke in 2 places. You know, that would be cool. You know, like, Locke's over here, Locke's over there. Which one's Locke? They both are. Not really. You know, like, that's, I don't know. Like, I feel like a lot of it's like the dream, haunting the dreams, making the dreams. Like, I think that's another one of his powers that he underutilizes.
Yeah.
You know, and the telekinesis.
For sure.
You know, like there's a lot of weird stuff where like, yeah, he could do this, but don't worry about it. Mm-hmm. It's not like a big thing he's going to use all the time.
Yeah. I wonder what the explanation is for his sort of spotty intermittent use of some of these powers. I don't know what they would say, but it is strange. And you know, with the claiming, he claims he doesn't claim.
Right.
So I feel like that would be his explanation about the dreams too. Like, oh, I didn't do that. Mm-hmm. You know, like he's got these passive powers that
just kind of happen.
His control, yeah.
Like somehow they enforce his will without his knowledge.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like a subconscious thing. You know how there's all these biological processes going on to keep you alive that you're not willing to happen.
Yeah, and I guess, you know, since he's the product of this consciousness being put in the power of the island, it sort of makes sense that there would be this new being would have these involuntary sort of processes going on.
You know, that brings up an idea that I think is pretty interesting that they didn't actually do on the show, which or if they did, could explain kind of what we're talking about here, these kind of passive powers. The idea that, like, you know, evil incarnate being attached to the spirit of Titus Welliver, it's sort of more than the sum of its parts in a way, where there's this conscious stuff he can do, but because he is attached to something bigger than himself, it's doing other things he's not aware of.
Yeah.
Like, that would have been an interesting thing to make, to state on the show, with the things like the claiming and the dreams and all these other powers that he doesn't, A, take credit for, or B, it doesn't seem like he uses consciously all the time.
Yeah.
That would have been an interesting thing to say. Well, the reason is because he's got this other force attached to him with its own will.
Yeah.
And that could have led to an interesting conflict between, like, needing to, remedy this force, remedy the evil incarnate back in the cave, or do whatever, kill him, because it's like even why, like, even it would even could explain why everyone would die in the world if he got off the island.
Yes.
Like he doesn't think it's true, but it's only because he doesn't understand that there's a bigger envelope of evil around him that can do things he's not in control of. Like, if that had been true, like if they had made that true on the show explicitly, that could have gone a long way to, I think, repairing some of these problems with how they portrayed his powers.
But if that, I think there's some passive evidence that something like that is true. But I still would say, why didn't Jacob just tell him that? Like.
Well, maybe Jacob didn't know.
Jacob didn't know.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. But then why is Jacob keeping him trapped there? I mean, why this idea of, like, what's going to happen when he leaves? I mean, I'm just assuming that, the people saying that, like, maybe they don't know, but they at least think that something like that's going on.
Well, okay, I think we have to unpack this, right? There's the central thing where oh God, I hope I can keep this train of thought. It makes sense. There's the central thing where okay, you have I'll call him Man in Black. So Man in Black is the actual human being before he gets killed by Jacob. Okay, so you have Man in Black who gets attached to evil incarnate with Smokey,
or Jacob's brother, you could call him if you want.
Jacob's brother, yeah, MIB. But he. So you have these two parts to him, right? So that's kind of the central thing. Now, I think from Jacob's perspective, he can believe that his brother should not leave the island without knowing explicitly that part of the reason is he's got this evil on him. I think, like, to him, he's not necessarily going to see the distinction of the two, right? Like, he might not say, well, to your question, why does he just tell him that? Like, I don't know if he would articulate from this, like, crackpot theory we're going with. I don't know if he would articulate, hey, brother, you can't leave the island because you have this evil force attached to you. I think he might just say, you're evil.
Oh.
Like, he might not know that there's things his brother, Man in Black, can't control. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that distinction is like a microscopic thing, whereas Jacob not wanting Man in Black to leave the island is a macro thing.
Right.
And I that's obviously splitting hairs, but I feel like maybe it's something, there's a nuance there to that where he just knows he doesn't want evil to leave, but he's not necessarily saying, he doesn't see the distinction between, like, Man in Black leaving the island and consciously killing everybody, and Man in Black leaving the island and passively killing everybody with this evil attached to him.
But I mean, doesn't he have to? I mean, I assume the person that he thinks is evil is Smoke Monster, Man in Black, right? Like, I assume he doesn't think that his human brother was, like, evil incarnate, right?
Well, I think he thinks he is now, right? Like they're linked together, because he saw his brother's dead body, right?
Yeah.
So I think he's like, well, my brother's gone.
His brother's dead body's Adam.
His brother's dead body is Adam. And his mother's Eve.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like he's looking at it from that perspective, if that makes sense.
No, or at least I don't get it. So okay. Like I feel like the part that's evil that he thinks is evil is not his brother's consciousness. It's what happened to him. It's the stuff that happened to him in the cave.
Yeah, I guess I'm trying to paint the picture that he doesn't see a difference, right? That once he saw his brother's dead body, he's like, okay, my brother's dead. What's left is Man in Black.
It's not his brother anymore.
It's not his brother. It's this evil incarnate thing that can look like my brother sometimes, or that might be my brother in a sense. But I feel like the distinction that there is Man in Black and the evil is something Man in Black would see from his perspective.
But Jacob doesn't think.
But Jacob doesn't see that because he saw his brother's dead body, and now all he thinks left is this evil that shouldn't leave the island.
This is something I wish they had elaborated on in the show. Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. Like, if they had made I agree. Like, they had some passive evidence to support the idea, but if they had explicitly stated that. That would have helped, because then it actually would have given him a pass for all these things that don't make sense.
Yeah.
And it would have made him a bit more interesting. It's like, wow, these, he can be responsible for dreams, but not in a conscious way. So it makes him, it gives him less superpowers.
Right.
It makes him influential, but he can't just give everybody a dream to go kill themselves or something.
Right. Right. And it also makes it sort of like he was claimed too,
Mm-hmm.
Like there's this evil force attached to him.
He's the original claimant.
Yeah, exactly. That obeys his will, but he it's sort of out of his control at this point.
Actually, and I feel like that really should have been the villain on the show, was the evil incarnate. Whatever was in the light cave, that should have been what was evil, and it should have been like it was in Titus's body, and then it got into Locke's body.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a thing that's neither one of them,
right? And
that's what needs to be destroyed. That's what doesn't have a name. Like Jacob's brother had a name.
Yes,
but
exactly.
It's evil incarnate that didn't have a name because it doesn't have a name. It's not a thing. It's not a person.
Because Jacob's brother wasn't a force of evil. He was just a guy that grew up on
I feel like that's where it goes wrong.
I agree.
That is where it goes wrong.
They almost did that, but then they didn't.
They didn't. They got close. They did something close to it.
And then sort of at the last second, they just completely dropped the ball. And they conflated the two.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
The conflation. Yes.
They made it so that what the brother wanted is the same thing the evil wants.
Yes.
And so it makes it seem like, it's just a continuation of him. They're the same thing.
Wow. Yeah, and that, because we've seen story points like this before, I feel like, where these things are conflated and it seems like, A and B are the same thing. And it's like, no, they're supposed to be different. I wonder if they're supposed to be different, if it's just a coincidence, that they couldn't really get around that. But, yeah. Is there a line? I feel like there should be a line, like, where, Man in Black's in the scene and Jacob, and he tells Jacob, what makes you think I'm your brother? Is there a line like that?
No.
Isn't there some line about, or maybe it's when Man in Black is Locke?
I feel like you're thinking of his scene with Echo, where he says that, basically.
Oh, Remy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yemi.
Yemi. Oh, sorry. Yemi. Remy. Yeah. The Cajun character came on.
Yeah, exactly. You speak to me as if I were your brother.
Yeah.
If he said that to Jacob, it could be a completely different story.
Yeah.
And it would make sense.
And it would make sense that Smokey, as the evil incarnate, is able to take different forms.
Mm-hmm.
If it's not, a man.
Right.
Yeah, wow, I feel like that clears a lot of things up.
Oh, definitely.
If you separate it out.
Yeah.
And you don't just say, there's the smoke monster when he's not in Titus Welliver form, but like there's a smoke monster that has its own wants and things, but is linked to Titus because of what Jacob did. But you could even like say, okay, well that's but then it switches hosts when Locke comes back to the island, and it's not attached to him anymore. It's attached to like Locke's body or something. That would have been interesting. Yeah, I feel like that solves a lot of things if you separate it out, and then you say, well, it's just a coincidence that what the evil wanted was out of the light cave. It wanted to escape all these eons.
Yeah.
But now that it's in a form on the island, it wants to escape the island, which is just a coincidence that it got attached to the one man who wanted to leave the island.
I mean, I think it's possible to believe that with what we were shown. But I feel like there's a lot of really strong. I feel like they did a lot of work to make like the crappier version true.
Yeah, they did.
Like it's like why are you emphasizing what they have in common so much if the point is going to be they're different things?
See, I feel like it's two things, right? It's either A, it's more how they showed it, but they need to emphasize that Man in Black is unaware of the evil he carries, like the magnitude of the evil that's on him, so that's why he shouldn't leave the island. Or it's B, you separate Man in Black and the evil incarnate. And
I mean, I could buy a version of this story where, he's been corrupted by it. Like,
yes,
the evil has taken him over.
Right? It should. It's like a parasite. It should have bended him to its will over the centuries.
Yeah, exactly. And so, like, he doesn't even fully realize it, but this evil has sort of overtaken him.
Yeah, that would have been so much more interesting that he's just a puppet in all this, like all of it, like everybody else to his plans. Like he's being controlled too. Like he's a cog in the wheel of the evil leaving the island.
Exactly. Yeah. Like this is the evil's way of escaping.
Yeah, he's the loophole.
He is the loophole.
Wow. He was his own loophole. Oh, wow.
Nobody saw that coming.
The evil. Now I feel like we cut to like a pre-episode before Across the Sea that's like underneath the cave. And you have like a light brother and a smoke monster brother, and they're arguing about if they can leave the light cave. And he's like, "There's no way you can leave the light cave. I won't let you leave." And then this was his way to leave the light cave. And then try to leave the island.
And he's like, "I'm gonna find a loophole."
Yeah, and his loophole was to get attached to a living person so he could leave the light cave, and then that person needs to leave the island. And
exactly.
Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yikes. Yeah, I kind of wish they would have been more specific about that stuff. But I mean, they obviously want things to sort of be up to interpretation. But when you're characterizing a character's like powers and abilities, it's strange when that kind of stuff is muddled, and it's like, well, he gave a couple people some dreams. Like, did it matter that they were maybe more susceptible to the dreams? They were in a place to receive them. Is that why it happened? But yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna bring up the fence.
Okay.
Because I mean, this is where we learn that thing about the fence, and I feel like they never gave us a satisfactory explanation of the fence. I mean, sure, I'll buy, I guess, that there's a fence and it works. He can't go through the fence. Okay, whatever. But what I feel like they kind of owed us was like, I feel like in the Dharma flashbacks or something, like there should have been some way to address like when they built that fence, did they know that it would do that? Did they design it to do that? Was it just a happy accident? Like, what's sort of the history of that?
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's unclear.
there should have been a scene where they discovered that this fence that was built to keep people out also kept the smoke monster out.
Yeah, and like that's sort of, I feel like, a hole in the Dharma story is that they, like, the smoke monster doesn't appear at all.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like the smoke monster's plan, and also, like, just his general involvement in all sorts of things, lead me to believe that, like, it would have made more sense if he made an appearance there, and they could have had the opportunity to have a discussion of the fence with the people who built it.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like there should have just been a line about, like, what did Dharma even think of the smoke monster? Like, I'm sure they knew about it. Stobor, right? I mean, Cerberus vents or whatever, all that nonsense. Like,
yeah,
they knew something was out there, but, like, were they going to try to study it? Did they figure that out by doing readings, or did, you know what I mean? Like, there's all sorts of
and add to this
unanswered questions
discussion that Widmore knows what it does too.
Right.
So that means that the others back in the day when he was leading them found out about the fence. So it's knowledge.
Yeah.
That exists that people know.
I'm assuming, I mean, Juliet knows about it. Obviously, she knows about it from the others, but, like, I'm assuming Dharma knew about it, and, either by spying or Ben or whatever, the others found out.
Yeah, I'm inclined to believe that that they built the fence to keep Smokey out, and the secondary effect is it also kills people.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like that's true too. And I feel like it didn't need to be like a major plot, but it feels weird that they didn't talk about the smoke monster at all.
To me, it's just, I think they needed, I think that's what you can't really kind of guess at is the inception of the idea to build the wall, and how they were able to build it without Smokey, like, interfering with them.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like if he knew that they were building, like, how long would it take to build all those pylons, right? And it's protecting a very large area. That's why I'm thinking I'd be more inclined to think it's against Smokey versus just regular people coming to the island, because it's protecting such a huge area. And you can build regular fences that are cheaper and easier to build if you want to just keep normal people out.
Absolutely.
You build a sonic fence if you're trying to keep a smoke monster out.
Yeah.
But I mean, if they're busy building pylons, and if he could have came and destroyed them before it got activated, so it's kind of the whole idea of, like, they built this without him knowing is kind of weird too.
Yeah, it must have taken some time, and it just seems unlikely that.
And the whole sort of correlation with the Ash line also makes that weird, because it seems like it's analogous to that. In some way.
It's like a technology version of the Ash.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, it's like Daniel should have, like, looked at a sample of the Ash and said, like, the Ash vibrates very high frequencies. So, some weird thing, that it's all high frequencies that keep him out.
That's really funny. I could see a show doing that. Like, I could see a show like, say, Fox's Wayward Pines doing something like that.
Nice.
That was definitely not Lost style. Like, going that specific, like, they never did that, I think.
Yeah.
But in a way, it would be cool. Like, I guess I don't need full answers, but I just felt like it should have been addressed. And they just decided to ignore it completely.
Yeah.
Which I think is a bit weird.
Yeah, that's a question for Carlton and Damon. Like, why did they not bring Smokey up during that time period?
Yeah, and I also wanted the cabin during that time.
Yeah.
Which would tie in, since Horace was there very prominently. And I found it frustrating if they didn't address that either. But I guess they answered that in the sense that Horace just built a cabin, and he didn't know it was going to get used in such a crazy way.
Yeah.
Basically. Like
the craziest timeshare ever.
Like he wasn't in on it. It's very doubtful that he had any idea that these crazy supernatural beings would inhabit it and stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
But we didn't know that at the time. I mean, we didn't know what they were in on. Crazy Dharma,
Craziness.
So, yeah. I mean, I guess that's answered, but still, though.
Yeah. Okay. Well, in general, yeah, I think this is the kind of episode where they set us up for another big change happening. So finally, Jack is leaving. Mm-hmm. He's going back to the beach for the beginning of the season, right?
Yeah. I mean, he hasn't been back. He'd been there since season 2 when he was, when he left to go with Michael and.
Wow.
Yeah. It's been a long time. So yeah, what is this, 15? They're not even there yet.
Yeah, no, yeah, you're right. They're not just gonna teleport over there.
Yeah, I think season 3 is really the start of like breaking everything up.
Mm-hmm.
These people over here, these people over there. We'll follow these people, and then those people.
Yeah, there was so much of that, and so many people on the move.
Yeah. Yeah, like I think season 2 just doesn't have as much of that, or season 1. They're more centralized, and they go off, but they come back.
Mm-hmm.
And now it becomes more like compartmentalized.
Yeah, more segmented.
Yeah, exactly. And season 4 is, I mean, the rest of the seasons are like that basically.
Yeah, it's interesting that the others decided to leave the Dharma camp. Soon, and I guess we'll find out maybe from their perspective why they did that. But we
will, I think, but it might be a while.
Yeah, I forget when it happens.
Yeah.
But it's weird to me that ostensibly they want to leave because the Losties know where they are now.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, why don't you just keep the fence on?
Yeah, wouldn't be that.
I mean, I guess. Well, actually, I guess the answer to that is the fence was on, and they got over the fence.
Right.
Okay.
Which, yeah, would sort of work. And I believe
it proves that it's not a safe place.
Yeah. And I think they're going to the temple now, which is more secretive.
Well, and it has a real security system.
And it has, yeah, exactly. Oh God. Yeah. But I think your question was also a good one, which is why don't they just move in there?
Oh man, yeah, that's such a huge it's ready. People were just living there. It's prime for about 50 people.
Mm-hmm. Which is a damn good estimate for how many people they need to live there.
Wow.
So yeah. It seems ready-made for that, and they basically do that. I mean, they live there in season 4 for a bit. They live there with Dharma. They sort of do that, but it's weird that
they get to use the set on the show, but it's not like the Losties just all move in there for.
Yeah, it's weird that they don't. It doesn't even seem like that's a consideration.
Yeah,
it's like, nah. We're going back to the beach. We're gonna beach it up.
It'd be fine if they're like, well, why don't we just live here, and then somebody says, well, they could come back at any moment, and then the fine. It's okay. Yeah.
Fair enough. But still, though, I mean, it's a lot of amenities there. I mean, did you see those houses?
I know some plumbing got worked on earlier by a certain notable doctor.
It's very true.
They had a surgeon.
Very true. Great curb appeal.
Mm-hmm.
All the houses look the same. They got secret rooms.
Yep, they got rooms where you can call Smokey.
Yeah, don't mention that.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's something that needed to be in the Dharma stuff. If they're gonna throw in the smoke monster, I need to.
Oh, how that ties in.
I need to understand the Dharma house that's built on top of the summoning chamber.
Mm-hmm.
Because how did that happen, and why did they? It's weird that they have that.
Yeah.
Because that's not, I mean, it's weird that exists at all, but it's weird that it's in the Dharma camp.
Yeah.
Because it's not, it feels like something like that should be in a temple or something, or some older, you know what I mean? Not in like a really recent structure.
Like that. What are the odds that they would build their Dharma camp on top of this special site?
Yeah.
Exactly. And is it a coincidence that they did that and tried to keep Smokey out with the sonic fence?
Exactly. Exactly. That's what I'm wondering. Like, was there some incident they summoned him and didn't mean to, or I mean, like, how did that? I don't know. I mean, I know they are not going to go into a lot of detail about that, but it just feels like there's a lot of potential there for something to be said.
I think Smokey attacking Dharma was called for. Like, we should have some interaction with that at some point.
And then a few people say some lines, and
just at least maybe just to trigger something with Dharma. Like, okay, well, now we need to double our efforts at the Orchid Station because of this, it should have been something that prompts them to react in some way that that's part of their story. But it's strange that just kind of got overlooked. That he was he on vacation during the 70s?
That's what it feels like. Yeah, he was just like chilling on the beach or something.
Yeah.
Like catching some rays and
takes every other decade off, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, the 70s, man.
That kind of works, right? Like, he took the 70s off. He's active in the 80s.
He came back to claim Russo's team.
Yeah. And then he took the 90s off.
Took the 90s off, sure.
And he's back in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
No, I like that theory, actually.
Every other decade.
That's a good one.
Yeah, because then, the show has some time in the 50s. I don't remember Smokey in the 50s.
Well, he's sort of in the 50s. There is some question about that. He's, Locke goes down the well and Christian comes out.
Yes.
That's one of those lost plot points that's kind of difficult. Because it's like, is it in the past? If so, how is he Christian? Mm-hmm. Is he time traveling? Did they switch to a different time period than what's above? Like, there are all sorts of...
Yeah, I remember that.
Unclear. I think actually that time's not the 50s. It's like super old times where like the statue's still up.
Oh.
If I remember right. Because like before the Orchid, the well was there.
Yeah.
Like the Orchid was sort of built on top of where the well was, and that's why you could get to the donkey wheel.
Yeah.
But then they go back to this old time and he climbs down there. But it's even crazier if it's like pre-1800s and he's appearing as Christian Shepherd.
Mm-hmm. Well, the fact that they had the Orchid over the donkey wheels placed, I guess that might have been their rationale in the same explanation of Dharma building the barracks over where you can call it.
True.
But how they knew that is a different question. But I guess at least there's two of those examples. Mm-hmm. So we need 3 for pattern. Right now it's just a coincidence.
That's true. I mean, the Swan Station is a little bit like that with the pocket or whatever that is. It's sort of an islandy thing. I guess it's not a structure, but
yeah, I guess that kind of fit. I mean, they definitely placed buildings at important sites.
Yeah.
I guess the barracks one is just weird because it's specifically Smokey and
right.
Not necessarily the energy magnetism connection.
True. Yeah, you're right.
But okay.
But yeah, now I mean, yeah. Now that I think about it, what was I talking about? The Smoke Monster thing? Was it a Smoke Monster thing? What was I talking about? That's my train of thought. I had a new thought, but I forgot what it was about.
Smokey, Dharma, building on sites, magnetism.
Oh, yeah, right. So, like, maybe he read, he scanned Locke or something, and he could get Christian from there because he had already talked to him at that point.
Oh.
But that gives him a crazy level of like time travel improvisation. Like if he sees Locke in this old time and he's like, I talked to you in the cabin later as this guy.
Yeah, like first of all, the problem is he knows he's going to be around for the next 1,000 years or whatever.
Yeah.
Because he's reading this guy's memories from the future where he exists. So that's kind of awkward. That's like, well, I guess I can do whatever, depending on what version of time travel you believe is true. I'm either in a new timeline now, or I can do whatever I want, and it's predetermined that I will end up in the future that I saw.
Right.
Which is very strange. But I mean, yeah, I mean, is that how he gets the loophole? It's not even. It doesn't even start with him sending Locke back in time. It's just like it's even before, to the 50s. It's like, yeah, that previous time period in the ancient past, like he's reading his mind and knowing. I guess that's the thing is he can like the first point in time and chronologically where he knows about the loophole, he's already created the loophole.
Right.
That's really awkward. Thanks, time travel.
Exactly. Yeah, and I feel like that's an aspect of the loophole that's like kind of interesting and crazy, and they don't quite make it explicit.
Yeah.
They do have him in the future, in the sort of present time, go to where Locke travels in, and tell him you have to bring your friends back, and tell him he has to die. So they have that idea of like in the future he sets up his own loophole in the past. But I guess this would be like a crazier version of that where past him realizes that future him has already done the loophole.
Yeah. And then that's part of the loophole.
That's part of the loophole. Yeah. 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 I mean, his awareness of the time travel is something. It's something I want in my loophole-centric episode.
Yeah.
Because I think there's evidence that he manipulated the time travel. He's involved there at several steps. He's the one who initiated it by telling Locke to move the island. He is there when Locke stops it, and Locke time travels to the point where he can tell him to die later. So it just feels like he's totally, manipulating that whole series of events, but they never really say that.
Yeah, I feel like when was it Sawyer and Man in Black go to the cave? And I feel like he should have like pulled down, one of those like projector screen or like a chalkboard, and like blast through a map part 2, but it's just like a flow chart of like his loophole and cross reference with like the timeline, and it's like this crazy schematic, and he's like, this took me forever to get right.
Yeah, it's like Primer or something, and this is what Smokey 1 did.
Yeah,
but Smokey 2 did something else.
Yeah,
because he realized Smokey 1 made a mistake.
Yeah. Yeah, oh jeez.
So the first time it was like this, and then I told myself not to do that. And it goes through time, and yeah, it's crazy. It's totally crazy.
Wow.
And that's what I wanted. That's all.
That's all I wanted too. I wanted the island to be a spaceship prison from another dimension. I mean, that's where my brain was by the end of the show.
I remember that.
And like Jacob is like the time warden or something.
Yeah,
which sounds like a horrible reveal, but I was really ready for that.
Yeah, it was definitely not that show. Like it would never be.
They were never gonna do that. They were never gonna have a hard sci-fi answer.
Yeah, and I feel like that should have been clear by season 6, but I was expecting a reveal like that.
Yeah,
I mean, we had the alternate timeline, and they're gonna have to get together.
Like even knowing that the answers are all metaphysical and all interpretational, I'm still thinking, well, they're gonna give us a specific answer that's gonna be some crazy technology. I think partly because you think who's writing the show, you think, that they want something cool and unique but I guess you could argue they got that, but they went in a non-specific way and made this whole thing about a show about what happens when you die.
Yeah.
And how you should live your life.
Right.
2 questions everyone was asking, right?
That's why I watch mystery shows.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, I do find something appealing about the way they do things. Obviously, as we do podcast number, what are we doing? 145?
145. I hope you find something appealing by now.
But it is frustrating in other ways. I like to think that usually when I ask for things, like, there's a way for them to give them to me, but still still Lost style. Like, they don't have to abandon their principles to have a loophole-centric episode, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they still don't have to explain everything in detail. I just want to see, like, some of the gears of his plan. Mm-hmm.
I think it's like you want them to prove it.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you don't just say something's true or intimate something's true, because there's so much of that going on.
Yeah. Exactly.
But, like, actually prove it's true. Yeah. Actually show something that supports whatever idea you're communicating to the audience about the topic. I think I totally have that same sentiment of, like, I don't want you to, like, write something that's not in keeping with the show that they've set up, but, like, you can't get away with hinting at things for every single thing.
Yeah.
And going, well, this is what they said it was. There's no proof of that.
Yeah.
But they said it a lot.
Yeah.
Does that count?
Mm-hmm. Even though there are repeated examples where that doesn't count, because people say stuff and it's just wrong, it's lies, it's misinterpretation, it's any number of things. So I just feel like it's too pivotal of a plot point to just not address. And going into season 6, I really thought that was going to be something they felt the need to explain. And I'm just surprised that they feel the need to explain, like, how Richard got to the island and how he can live forever, whereas they don't feel the need to explain how the Smoke Monsters plan worked. Because it feels like the second thing is much more important.
It's the main driving force behind arguably the whole show, if not just the latter part of the show. You think they would want to explain that because it's your main villain's motivation and the way he is trying to accomplish it, and like, as they are illustrating, it's very interesting. That's what's strange is, like, the more interesting something is, the less likely they are to. The really boring stuff they have no problem with.
Oh, tons of that. Yeah. Oh, we'll do that. We'll do 3 episodes on that.
Sure. But, like, actually explaining, like, the stuff that's really the most interesting. Yeah.
You're right. Like, the crazier it is, the more they run away from it.
Yeah.
It's very strange.
Which makes sense in a way of, like, not wanting to ruin it, not wanting to limit the possibility in the viewer's mind.
Yeah.
But I think when it comes
break the spell.
When it comes to, like, a plot kind of thing, though, when it comes to, I feel like you can get away with that in character stuff, but, like, when it comes to how does A lead to B lead to C, I feel like that's where it is important to be more specific.
Yeah.
Especially when it's somebody's plan, because that is their evidence of being interesting, of them being, that's why, from like Walking Dead or something, people's plans are great because how are they going to survive? What's your plan?
Yeah.
And I think, like, with Man in Black having a plan, the most audacious plan in history, some might say.
Yeah.
I mean, Jesus came back from the dead, but, like, Men in Black has a time traveling loophole, so I don't know which is better, but
it's hard to beat.
Both are of legend.
Absolutely. I mean, I've dreamed about this episode. Like, it's something I want so badly, and I'm already with my previously on Lost. I see you found your loophole. Yes, I did, and you have no idea what I went through to be here.
Oh man, that'd be so good. And then it does that whoosh sound and it flashes back to wow.
Exactly. It's the perfect setup for that.
Yeah, you hooked me. I want to see that so badly now.
It's like, because that suggests some big, crazy, elaborate plan. He wouldn't talk about how difficult it was to pull off if it were as simple as, well, I'm gonna get somebody else to kill you for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like, if it's that simple, like, it shouldn't be that difficult.
Mm-hmm.
You already tried to do that before, and now this person's gonna do it. Okay. Like, I feel like there's got to be more to it than that, and I think you could easily have a whole episode about that, and it would be sort of like the Nikki and Paulo episode, dare I say, where basically we see a lot of these events from his point of view.
Oh, for sure. Or I was even going to say kind of like the time travel episode where, like, we see from Sawyer's perspective.
Absolutely,
we see like Kate and Claire giving birth, like that kind of thing where we get his perspective on some of these other events that have happened and like what he's going to do because of that.
Mm-hmm. It could have just done a lot to like tie the thing together. Mm-hmm. Explain how he felt about the hatch and his manipulations there. Explain the cabin, or at least like, I mean, maybe that's going too far, but at least like give us a little more context.
Yeah.
For those things, while still preserving some mystery. I mean, I don't think they would have to lose it to have something like that, but it would just be like, yes, he manipulated the time travel.
Well, and it has to start with after, okay, I see you found your loophole, yes, you have no difficult, blah, blah, blah. Then it flashes back. I feel like it's got to flash back to what the loophole is.
Yes.
And somebody saying, well, you can never do X, Y, Z. One day I'll find my loophole.
Yeah.
And then we get a clear context of what he means by loophole.
Yeah.
And so you can tie that back to what they actually say.
Yeah.
And then you can get into the like details about how the plan came together and had to change, I'm sure, over time. But yeah, and then you pick the 3 or 4 biggest moments in the loophole and you dramatize them.
Mm-hmm.
And you show what he was thinking and why he thought it would work and I think the other problem with the loophole and that scene when Jacob gets killed is part of that is mired in the idea that Jacob and his brother can't hurt each other.
Right. Yeah.
So it's kind of like, okay, is that all you mean about the loophole?
Mm-hmm.
Is that like you found a way to hurt me,
right?
Because you can't do it directly, or is it deeper than that?
Right. Yeah, I agree. It's unclear. Something they could have addressed.
Yeah. Yeah, like I say, like if they would have, like in this episode you're talking about, like you flash back and they're, one day I'll be able to hurt. You can't hurt me. One day I will be able to. I'll find a loophole and I'll,
Yeah.
I mean, he says that. They have it. They have that scene.
Yeah, they do. They do. One day I'll find a loophole. It's a thing.
Yeah.
That was the bookend of the season 5 finale.
Yeah.
One day I'll find a loophole. I see you found your loophole. Like that's yeah.
They have it. So why does it make sense? They have it.
It just doesn't make sense. I don't know. What I will give them points for activating my imagination.
Yeah. Imagination activation.
I mean, there's something to be said for that. Okay, yeah. I acknowledge it. Nonetheless, I feel like it's a flaw in the story in a way.
Yeah.
Even if it obviously interests me a lot.
Mm-hmm.
This particular, like, hinting of insanity. I'm kind of obsessed with that, I guess. That's the stuff I keep coming back to. Where they sort of suggest something really crazy, but they never come out and say it.
Yeah.
You know, and so we're left saying all these things on the podcast about like dream sending and splitting up into multiple people and manipulating time travel, and no one says that on the show. You know. But we're just extrapolating from the little hints that they give, you know, or telekinesis or what. Like no one says that.
It made me think of like Walt and remote viewing and all these things that they hint at and they show, but they never like say. And
exactly.
It
was a very consistent pattern. Like show and hint at the crazy, but never make it too specific. Don't say it out loud. Don't just say like, that's what this is about, Walt. Remote viewing.
And it's interesting, you know, in the context, like juxtaposing that or comparing it to Game of Thrones, where mysterious, mystical, supernatural things happen, and they actually just happen.
Mm-hmm. Right.
There's no like, well, it seemed like it happened.
Yeah.
But maybe it did or did. It's like, no, that's the thing that happened, and other people know it happened, and this is just part of the world.
That's just life. Crazy shit happens.
Yeah, here it's so mysterious and interpretational, and you can quite pin it down.
And like it's filtered through like what people say about it or what people think. Mm-hmm. You know, so like there's already an extra level, not just what we interpret, but what the characters say.
Yeah.
You know, so there's always this filter of, you know, everything. The way the cabin is introduced to us is like steeped in manipulation. So it's sort of like, of course it doesn't make sense. Like it's just buried. No one's telling the truth about it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, well, we don't know what it is then. Like they're all just saying shit for different reasons.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, so it's a really unique quality of the show. That's, you know, as we said, it draws you in, but it also makes you very frustrated.
Yeah. All right. Well, anything else for Left Behind?
Smoke Monster was in this episode, so that was totally on topic.
Yeah.
Seriously. No, I think that's it. It was a solid, like, you know, B plus-y kind of episode. Like, it did its job. It was entertaining. And, you know, this is what Lost is like when it's in sort of standard mode. And
I agree. Totally standard.
Yeah. It was good. I liked it.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll be back next time with One of Us.
Yes, we will.
Until next time, thanks and namaste.
Namaste and good luck.